Learn about shipping home containers with me. Welcome to Shipping Home Container 101. Shipping Containers 101. Now, most people wonder, what are these things actually made of and why were they created? Now, shipping home containers are made of Corten steel. Now, the unit like this, with finished plumbing and everything, weighs about 18,000 pounds. The beautiful thing about this is the steel structure has the best structural integrity possible. Now, the units that we specifically use are the one-trip shipping containers. Now, what that means is they've only been overseas once. So they've only taken one trip from point A to point B, and those are the containers that we use for the ADUs, for everything else. So that you know that there's not much wear and tear or anything like that. Most people worry about the rust and all of these different types of things, but with a one-trip ship, if you will, we know that the structural integrity is actually perfect on these units. And now, when we do get them into the warehouse, what we tend to do is bring it into our beautiful painting box that we have that you guys may or may not have seen yet, and we prime the entire perimeter of the container with primer, and then we put 2 coats of marine grade paint on that. So like, we're not talking normal paint, we're talking about the hardcore heavy duty paint that is used on boats, that is corrosion resistant and all of the things. So that will ensure that there's no rust on these bad boys. Now, that covers the frame and really the roof. The roof will last forever as well. We tend to put a layer of paint on there that's light reflectant, so that way the heat doesn't really trap up there. But that also could last you decades upon decades upon decades, and just the whole structure in general. The structure itself, as part of the steel, is hurricane proof, corrosion proof, all of that, especially with the paint that encapsulates really everything. So there is no rust or anything like that. And with the steel, it's easy to cut through the frame. Well, not very easy, but it's possible through welding and all of this. And we can cut open windows and doors and that kind of thing and really customize that piece for you. And a lot of people wonder, when it goes on site, how does it get dropped and how do you access and what does it really look like and how is it different? So I want you to think about shipping home containers as it's simply like a house, but instead of a house having the wood frame, it has a steel frame. So this is way more solid than any other house. I mean, they're fireproof, all of the things, right? So now this is us talking about the exterior. When this unit comes onto your property, as I talk about, this is a turnkey product that comes ready. So we literally take this from here, the warehouse, we put it on a truck, we bring it to your property, we take a crane and we place it on your site. Now, what happens before we do that is we really get into putting all the utilities that you're going to need connected to it, right? So we run trenches for the water lines, electric lines, all of that stuff. And then we pour a concrete foundation or footers or helical piles. I mean, there's different ways that we can do it. Every municipality is different in what they require, but essentially the structural pieces of containers, now the structural integrity lies within the corners, so it can handle the pressure on all 4 corners. And again, remember, these are designed to pass through the saltwater sea, which means they're also corrosion resistant as well. So many different reasons why the frame of this type of structure is second to none when it comes to anything else. When it comes onto the site, now how do we install it? When the crane is dropping it and we're putting it on the foundation, we do want to leave a little bit of space so that way you have access to the plumbing below. And how much room do you really need here? So you can see this is like a steel beam right here. So we need about 2 to 3 feet that we need to create so that way if there's ever any issues, you can get underneath there and really be able to access the plumbing. Now, if you've got a backyard office or something that doesn't have plumbing, we can set it straight onto the concrete and that's no problem. But in this instance, if it's the actual unit, we do need to be a little bit off the ground. And for those who are wondering hey, can you dig a basement underneath these things? Absolutely, it's just like any other house. You just have to do the excavation work to really do that and build out the foundation with basement walls and stairs going down and that kind of thing. So that's totally, totally possible. Another major question that I get, we can just finish this box ourselves, right? We can just finish the inside. Absolutely not. Shipping containers are built 2 code. It is in the International ICC code and the IRC code, the International Residential Code. So this is a unit that is absolutely 1,000% approved by all building codes. You can't just buy a container and finish it out and not meet code. You're gonna run into a lot of issues with your local building department and all of these things. So please don't do that. Please contact us before you have any questions on anything else. But it's built just like the frame of a regular home. And let me show you guys. Let's do a little bit of a tour of what the internal piece of a shipping container looks like, so you can see that it is exactly like when you would build a house in any other way. Let's get on up here. So as you can see, the inside of the containers is actually wood frame. So this doesn't look any different than you would any other house, right? So here is where the kitchen area would be. So you'll see the water lines, the waste lines are all here. You'll see the washer and dryer, stacked unit here, and then the plumbing for the toilet, the vanity, and the shower. And then this is just an open frame for the window right here. The window is gonna go right here as well. And you'll see all of the electric lines leading to the electric panel. Same thing, the electric panel that you would have in your own property as well. And then over here is really the 1 bedroom. Now, another typical question that we get asked, and what type of appliances do you get in these containers? Well, with that, you get an electric oven, which is fantastic, right? So there's typically not gas lines that we run through here, typically just electric. And then we've got the traditional, everything else for the bathroom and that kind of thing. But that's pretty much it. It's just like any other house, but built very, very easily. So with the insulation, that actually is one more question for you guys. You guys are seeing it without it right here on these walls. So we put 6 inches of R value insulation here that essentially then takes this whole frame and encapsulates it all together, and it will never move, and it'll make sure that this unit is beyond insulated for what it actually needs. But again, everything is met to the code and is absolutely perfect. And then once the insulation goes in, then the drywall goes in, then the paint, then the floor, and this is done.